Gutfoxx here. So, got a lot of questions on Team Affinity. You see some of them behind my head right here. Which ones to go after when you get up to them on the path, right? The Team Affinity path. Obviously, the reward path you'll get to as you're grinding out. I really haven't done a whole lot of grinding yet. I finished the event from Friday, and otherwise it's been a pretty busy weekend, but we got a week ahead of us, so the stream should be pretty grind-tastic as far as missions and stuff, showdowns. I did more kaiju stuff, I guess, than this, so I'm right there with you. I haven't really used any of these TA cards, but I do kind of want to give a thought around who maybe to go for. Obviously, there's always guys that surprise us on the field that don't play like we want to play, but after playing, you play the game a lot, you kind of know how some of these stats play. You know how Jacob DeGrom cards pitch. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that as we go ahead. But, like, if you want to do these, people I've seen do it, give tips. I've seen people on Twitter and stuff. Basically, it's as simple as, just doing the missions that they have for you, right? Like doing the moments, doing the showdowns. You can do conquest there too. Exchanges. They're not as bad as they were last year. They're still kind of expensive, so you don't have to do them unless you want to get these things done as quick as possible. But luckily, in most packs, you don't need every single card. And there's a few good ones in each pack though. But let's go ahead and get into it. Which ones do I like the best in which order? I'm gonna go through it. Not through Team Affinity here. I'm gonna go through my binder, but you guys can see what card is in each one. So you guys, obviously, there are the skippers. The skip to the end of the video, and I know people that are gonna comment right away, like, "Yo, how could you rank this?" Like within a minute of uploading, like, "How could you do this? How could you do this?" So like, you skipped to the end, you son of a gun, didn't you? But incognito series. Let's go ahead and take a look at which ones we like the best and which ones to rank. So handy dandy spreadsheet here, 1 to 30. So 30's next to 30, because why not double up? All right, I think my least favorite one here. Oh, whoops. My least favorite one is probably Nick, okay? He's a righty that doesn't hit righties very well whatsoever as far as contact, power, so I don't really think that he plays great on All-Star or higher. Not very fast. You're going to see some absolute burners in this incognito series in this Team Affinity. Great fielder, but, when you like great fielding, you want along with some speed there. To be the perfect fielder. His clutch also is terrible, 81. So really just an overall, just poorly constructed card. It sucks, but I think he's by far the worst. There's some bad ones, but he definitely takes the cake in my opinion. My next closest one on the list will be, once I find him, CJ Cron right here. Now, he's another righty. He hits righties better, but he is very slow. So he's relegated basically to first base or DH, which is fine, but there are much better DHs here that you're gonna see, right? Now, the clutch being 115 is huge, incredible. I really like that. As far as quirks, he doesn't have the insane quirks right there. Vision, so your foul ball is going to be lower. But yeah, so there is a little bit of a redeeming factor here on this card due to the clutch, but overall, Crone, I just feel like, with the competition at first base right now, it's going to be a hard time to, wanna Crone after the Crone. So, my next one after that, I guess bring you back to the list, Adam Dunn here at 28. Dunn is like, he's weird, right? I love Dunn's swing. I love the way he hits the ball in the park. Is incredible. If you connect to that pitch, it's going. Now it's 101 contact versus right, which is great, but you're going to be using him either as a DH, first baseman. Like I said, there's a lot of competition there, and he needs to be good there. Bad vision, so you're not going to get a lot of foul balls, but his pinch hitting quirk is huge. And so I feel like, a lot of this card will be used as a pinch hitter. Weak against lefties. We might be starting to face a little bit more Rainey Johnson. They brought out more lefties. The issue and why I hate this card is 86 clutch right there. So once again, relegated to first base, a left-handed hitter. And I feel like there's a lot of good lefties switches in the game right now. And so it's a crowded market, and they screwed the clutch. So I don't know. So many of these cards are so good. It was very hard for me to rate Adam Dunn this low on the list, because this guy has absolutely just hit nukes for me over the years, and I've loved the way this guy has played. So I'm sad, but Got a lot of position flexibility is sometimes needed. You know, you don't need it, but if he's there to balance out your lineup, he's going to be a good card for you, I think. But all of these cards are going to be good cards. All right. I said Alkaline right there is my, fourth least wanted one. Alkaline right here. Mr. Tiger. Now, another outfielder, but 60 speed. I think I really want guys that are fast. Like, he's got pretty good reaction. It's not like over 90. It's not like insane 99 reaction or anything like that. They did bless him on the contact and clutch, which is cool. He doesn't have a lot of pop. So for like a slow corner outfielder, I feel like I'd want a better all-around hitter. And it's too bad because Alkaline is one of the greatest hitters of all time. And, you know, some of these guys are some of the greatest of all time, but, you know, they had to give 97s to some people. So Kaline got one. His card later this year should be better than this one. So it's just not a complete card. What is he, like a 3-tool guy? And it's just that's why he's 27 for me. And I don't really see myself finding a spot on my roster, or many people will outside of big Detroit fans. So Steven Kwan here is also pretty low on my list. Another low power guy. At least he's got a little bit more speed. He doesn't really have a big arm. Clutch is also pretty good there. That, I think, balances out 110, 114, so they should play pretty similarly. I don't know. As a lefty corner outfielder, he does have speed, but no power. It kind of bugs me. I don't want to, like, you know, really square one up and just have a lazy fly ball to, like, not even get to the warning track. So there's so many good cards and good outfielders now that he just can't make the list for me. And you know, obviously on higher difficulties, you're going to really want those 110s, 115s, what do you got? 117 is the highest one. You're going to want that contact, but I don't know. I just feel like I want guys that can hit the ball over the fence more consistently like that, because, like, you know, power does bail you out at times, right? Like a lot of cards like that card, it'll be like an easy fly ball. That guy's like, you know, the other one, Babe Ruth, who's free if you did the collection. I guess I wouldn't say that's free. You got to put time and effort into that, along with, you know, if you don't do time and effort, money. But other power hitting outfielders that have a very similar speed. All right, who is next up? Lucas Giolito is my next pick on the list. So we're getting slightly better. 110 hits per 9 is nice. 110 pitch per clutch is nice. Probably the best, right up there with the best starting pitchers in the game as far as per 9s there. The issue is his stuff sucks. Fastball, circle, slider, 12-6, and he doesn't really have overwhelming speed. I do like circle change being as low as possible, but 81, I'm not sure there's enough of a difference between that and the fastball to make him worth it. So I just don't like the card. His walks per 9 ain't great. Pitch control ain't great. I could have probably ranked him lower. If you know, maybe he should go even lower than that, because this card stinks. The only thing I like about him is those high hit per 9. So that, I don't know. I was kind of on the fence of keeping him here with his high hits per 9, but I really feel like he is just going to be crap. So let's go ahead and make a last second adjustment. Let's just do it. Let's just throw him down. I just really want to show, like, how bad that stuff is. Like, that's some of the worst. Outside of, like, guys with, like, only 2 pitches, that's some of the worst stuff you can have on a pitcher. All right. 24 on the list. Whit Merrifield. Okay, so Whit right here. Another decent contact, low power guy. Really high speed, though. So he's got a lot of value on your bench. What's nice about him is, like, not necessarily like his bat or anything like that. He's an excellent fielder at so many positions. So basically, like, late game, you can bring in anybody you want to pinch hit, and then you bring in Whit Merrifield basically to you know, take their position in the field. The only issue is that's using 2 guys for 1 slot, whereas, like, you can oftentimes find guys that are good hitters that can also play a variety of positions. So that's the other side. Also, clutch only being 103 versus 125. If you do bring him in for, like, sub against a lefty, that's tough. To lower your contact that much. But yeah, that's it. Just, like, I love the speed, I love the defensive flexibility, and not much else. All right, here we are, number 23, Nestor. All right, Cortez. Again, another pitcher that it's tough because his pitch mix ain't great. I do like cutters. I will say that I do like cutters, and he's a lefty and a righty meta, which definitely helps a little bit. Control is very solid on some of his top pitches. Obviously, circle change can be a big par. Walks per 9 at 100 is fine. or is actually, you know, pretty good, one of the better ones. And pitch break is fine. So it just, he doesn't have like the overwhelming stuff, and I feel like a lot of guys can hit stuff if it's not zooming in there. And especially without like, you know, the sinker too right there. His two-seamer doesn't have like any break on it, so it really won't run a whole lot, so it won't act like a sinker, won't bail you out. So Nestor, another one that's kind of did in by pretty poor pitches. So he's 23 on my list. Number 22 is somebody who's got, you know, otherworldly IRL stuff. Strider, similar issues is, you know, I just don't love the differentials, one, right? Outlier 1 is great, so he throws 102, 103 up there for you. But slider circle's it, right? Slider circle is literally it. No movement on the two-seam. I do really like the per 9 on the hit per 9. The pitching clutch is tragic. So overall, that's kind of why I did it, right? Pitching clutch and not great stuff. Not great, you know, differentials, I guess, in his pitches. 21. Kevin Youkilis. Eucalyptus. The Uke, a righty with fair attributes, I would say. Great fielder. So if you do want a first baseman, I generally think you could get a better hitter here. You can't really get much of a better fielder. So if you are a guy that throws the ball in the dirt, Uke will pick it out. That's where I see his value along with 125 clutch. Okay? He's really a glove first, a clutch situation player, and you know that's value. I like that's value. I mean, you know, I don't think it's great value. It's probably not a guy I'd run, but I feel like there are people out there that might like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to bring the highlights to how you can use these cards. I mean, they're all solid. Don't get me wrong, they're all solid. This card right here, Birdie, is just a pinch runner, right? I think, like, throw this guy on your bench to be a pinch runner, and then he can go in any secondary position you want. But I think that's his value. With terrible clutch, if a guy's on second, you wouldn't hit him. You wouldn't really want to start him because of that. But that's kind of what I see Birdie, and I think that is worth a roster spot. And that's all I got to say about Birdie. Paul Molitor is up, number 19. Definitely getting into like a lot more of like you could start almost all these guys, and you can win games, of course, if you're good at the game. Once we're starting to get into like Paul Molitor territory, you can start to see yourself use these guys on a regular basis. 125 clutch along with, you know, contact 125, contact left 116, good speed, fine fielder. I think it's definitely usable. Will carry his quality through Hall of Fame legend due to the high contact, as high as anybody out there. I don't think his swing is overly good, and that's all I got to say about Molitor. But definitely out there, and is you know, kind of right there. I feel like maybe that is where I'm saying, like, you could definitely start using a lot of these cards on your squads, or you're not gonna feel too left behind. Sonny Gray is right here for me, and I tried to boost up the pitchers right here. There were some good ones. There's one really good one on this list. Where is Sonny? But I think I kind of like this guy. The only downside is no changeup. Changeup's probably my favorite pitch in the game, but he does have sinker cutter, and you can kind of use the cutter. It's a little fast to be a true changeup, but the fact that he's got a slurve and slider, we see this on Randy Johnson too. Look at that pitch break on him. Like, you know, they look the exact same out the hand. The problem is they're pretty close in mile per hour. They will end up at two different spots in the zone, so you do want to mix up the slurve and the slider quite a bit. It really throws people off. It's a great combo. And then sinker cutter too. So I think he's got a very interesting pitch mix. That's something I like. The only downside is pitch clutch is significantly lower than hits per 9, so with runners on base, you don't love it. But I think Sonny Gray is a very interesting looking pitcher, something I'm kind of excited to try out and see if he can pitch well. Next up, I got Matt Cain right here. Matt Cain on the mound. Spare the child's... Spare the cane? Spoil the child? Wait, where's the cane? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. There he is. His per 9's low. Pitching clutch extremely high. He's got a sinker, circle, curve, slider. The control on the sinker ain't great. Fastball at 95, sinker at 94. Wish there was a little bit more differential between the two, but overall, good walks per 9, good control on the pitches. So overall, I don't mind Matt Cain. He might not be, super effective, but I think a sinker with a good circle slider combo can get you some decent outs. Curveballs, they're fairly easy for people to pick up this year. All right, number 16 is it's one that I find hard to rank relievers, right? The value. How often are you using a reliever in like ranked? A lot of like ranked games will end after a couple innings, so you don't get to use them as much. But once you get up higher into the 7, 8, 900s, you will start to use a lot more. But a guy with outlier, high end hits per 9, pitch clutch, slider, change, there's definitely value there, right? Because the circle change will be like, 13 to 14 miles per hour different than the fastball. That's a huge weapon. The only downside is walks per 9 is a little low. It's got good control. The circle change is going to be all over the place, though. The break on it ain't great. But otherwise, I think he could get you. I think he can get you through an inning at least with that kind of stuff right there. So that's a pretty good pick. The issue is, again, he's a reliever, getting you a couple innings every couple games maybe. Number 50, Clemente. I always find it hard, right? Because I'm my favorite team, IRL, is the Pirates. Clemente's got a whole field swing. I didn't like it last year. He only was really great because his contact was so high. Clutch at 125 is incredible. Great fielder. He's slow though, right? I hate slow outfielders because fast outfielders cover so much ground. They take away hits. So he's going to be like, sure, he'll be like great reacting, but he might give up a hit that somebody that, that's 99 speed won't give up. And those ones in the gaps are, game changing a lot of times. If they get down versus get caught, it, lowers your pitcher confidence. It gets a rally going. They get caught, your pitcher confidence goes up slightly. You get one more out to the end of the game. Like, it's a pretty big deal, okay? And he doesn't hit righties really well. Again, a whole field swing. At least that was last year. I didn't check what it is this year, but I don't think they change those things very much year to year, if at all. Means I don't like him. I don't like Clemente, and he doesn't have the max contact now. But I'm biased, so I put him at 15. I'll be taking him number 1 out of that pack personally. Kyle's, a.k.a. Corey's brother, Seeger, here. Here it is, Kyle Seeger. A lefty bat on third, second, or short. He's slow, so I only really like him at third base. There's a lot of competition at third base, right? Between Chipper, Chapman, that new one that's really good that we just got, and it's floating on my brain, but I like that his clutch is super high. I really do like that, and an okay bat, and he's got the okay swing too, and that's kind of it. He's fine. I don't know. Maybe I ranked him a couple spots too high, but I don't know. That's fine for him. Tim Raines. Tim Raines is, I feel like, well respected ish. Maybe put a little bit more respect on his name because of all the tools he brings to the field. The only thing he's really lacking is power, but when you look at his speed, great in the outfield. He can also play second base. I think you got yourself a heck of a player right here for your team, because a switch hitter too, right? I sometimes I gotta mention switch hitting. I love switch hitting, especially with contact. PCI size is that big. The issue is, a lot of those perfect balls they're gonna hit are gonna get caught short of the fence. It happens to 125 power guys, deep drives to center field get caught. Like even at places like Coors and stuff. It's just frustrating, and it's gonna happen even more to him. So you want to stay on top of the ball, drive it, line drive it. But yeah, again, like listen to what I said to the Clemente. Right, this guy is gonna get to those balls that Clemente might not be able to get to in the outfield, and that's game changing. It's huge. A really good outfielder. So he's 13. You're like, oh, a really good outfielder. I mean, there's a lot of great cards here. All right, Jose Barrios right here. Izzy Berry good? Let's take a look. Where am I? Oh, there he is. Okay. His downside, hits per 9. Clutch a little higher, which is nice. I really like the sinker. I really like the circle. I like the slurve. And that's all I got to say, right? Because he's got good control, got good movement. And so, like, a lot of guys are 3-4 pitch pitchers. He's one of them. I don't know how bad 88 hits per 9 will play. I don't really like it. But I think on something like All-Star, where you have a 95-mile-per-hour sinker, slurve, circle, I think that plays. And I like the differential being 12 miles per hour between the sinker circle. Really will get people flaring on you. And I like the control, so you won't hang that many pitches along with those high walks per 9. So overall, Jose Berrios, I put him at 12, but maybe I gave too much benefit to pitchers because I don't really see any like dominant guys. Maybe Helsley, like Helsley's really solid, but maybe I'm rating a little bit lower. Anyways, Ernie Banks here at number 11. The Mr. Cub. Where are you at, Banks? Isn't he a cake eater, or is that a different Banks? Oh, there he was. Mr. Cub. Awesomely well balanced across the hitting spectrum right there. Clutch slightly higher than his than his contact, which is good. Speed's the only downside of this card. And obviously you'd want them like 110, 115 contact power, but I also don't love his swing. I haven't for years. He doesn't have a pull swing. So lack of speed, lack of great feeling swing to me is why he hit 11. And so that's why he is there. Number 10, Mr. Tony Two Bags. Aren't they all two bags? I guess I should just call them all two bags. Tony Two Bags, Mr. Padre. Maxed out contact, of course. Maxed out clutch, of course. Speeds maybe a little slower than you want to see in the corner outfield for sure. But you're going to be slapping the ball in play. A great, lead off, set the table, maybe end of the lineup guy. Put him at 9-hole. Get a guy second lead off. Right there for Mr. Padre. All right, number 9. Roy, the Two Bags, Mr. Holiday, the Gunslinger. All right, where you at? Tony Two Bags. There it is, Holiday. All right, Holiday. Hits per 985. Eesh. Real big eesh. And that's why he's not a good card. I love cutter. I love cutter sinker. Curve splitter. Yeah, lack of a slider sucks, but it's really the hits per 9 that kills me on this card. More than anything, that's literally it. That's his only problem, and the only reason is why he's not higher. I remember Roy Halladay's card was it last year played well for me. I just don't think 88 or 85 per 9 is going to kind of stand up to a lot of people's like slightly off PCIs because they are going to get some more BS hits against this card than any other one that we've seen so far. I think that's the lowest. All right, next up, Eddie Murray. I love this guy. Switch hitter. Mwah. Clutch is 107, which, it's part the way between his contact right, contact left. Speed is slow, so he's really just a first baseman / DH, which is okay, right? A well-balanced hitter that's a switch, it'll be a fine addition to your collection. I like this. I like switches. I like having the platoon match. If you have a full lineup of switches, it makes your opponent's job so tough. They literally have to repeat the same sequences to like every batter just about. It becomes a lot easier, I feel like, to pick up on their routines if you're always at the platoon advantage. Whereas if you're like lefty ready, you can like as a righty throw you like those away cutters and sliders, and those are the timing on those are so much different than like them coming into you. Yeah, it's like you kind of wait for them a little bit to hang coming into a lefty versus going away to a righty where you kind of got to like wait back and the slapping the other way versus like pulling them and hitting the power. I don't know. It's just a different feeling. So having a lot of switch bats, even though his stats aren't as high as, obviously like Babe Ruth or something, but I think there is a huge advantage to building a team like that and to having guys like this. Even though the contact power aren't as high as maybe some other guys that you can get. I love switches. That's a me thing. All right, another me thing is maybe I'm biased, but I like good catchers. And Jimmy Foxx has catcher secondary. The issue is he's not a defensive superstar. You will let the ball pass you a little bit more. How much? We'll see. I haven't seen a ton of pass balls this year. It ain't like it was, like 2-3 years ago? But he's got good hitting stats. He's got an opposite tendency, which is weird, right? So, like, there are different pull tendencies. Maybe we're going to explain this more into a video, but, like, quick second explanation. There's extreme pull, whole field, opposite, and extreme opposite. He's got opposite, okay? Which means his timing windows on balls away from him are going to be larger. And like if you have extreme pull, your timing windows on balls inside are larger. Whole fields you got like equal. So it's a unique swing. It's one that you might have to get used to. But if you can just slap at the ball, you're great with Jimmy. Okay. But again, he's a catcher, first baseman, third baseman. Not a switch. So because his contacts and power aren't like in the 1 teens, maybe you want to hold off. There is a better catcher that's coming up here. But overall, Jimmy Foxx cards have slapped for some people, surprisingly, being an opposite hitter. I like opposite hitters better than whole field hitters. I don't know why. But maybe I'm just biased with Fox being Fox. All right. Glass now is up here. I got him pretty high on my list. Former Pirate, of course. Pitching clutch is 125. I don't know what he did to get 125 pitching clutch, but they gave it to him. 102 hits per nine, really nice. Now, the only downside of this guy is no sinker, no cutter. And he's basically like 4 pitches, right? Fastball, knuckle curve, circle change, slider. So he is not like, insane. He's not going to be meta. Some guys will pick him up and hit him well if they deal with 98 mile per hour fastballs really well. Doesn't have quirks. I got a video coming out on quirks with strategy dude that I think is gonna like blow you guys' minds. Except for that one. Control is not the bestest. Good break on the knuckle curve. Slider. So I don't know. I put Glass now high because of the per nines. But we'll see how he plays out there. People might just be able to see him really well. And Glass now could very well, if I'll play a few games with him. If people start letting him up, he might well be down around here. Might put him around, lower than Strider. I just, other the per nines put him up high for me. Talking about high, Jacob DeGrom. Well, a high pitcher. Is that my highest pitcher? No. We got one more. Let me actually go to the Strider. Strider is missing 1 pitch, and his pitching clutch is way worse, right? 30-some points worse. That's why Strider was so low. DeGrom. Pitching clutch also insanely high. Hits per nine, not. But he's got good walks per nine. His control's good, and his breaks okay on a lot of these pitches. But again, very, faster fastball than Glass now, but basically the same pitches, right? Fastball, slider, circle, curve. And Glass now had fastball, curve, change, slider. So, yeah. It's really, you're getting, DeGrom he's got outlier, which is why he's just flat out better, which is why he's ranked higher than Glass now. But he's very similar to Glass now otherwise. I think he's slightly better control too. But overall, yeah. DeGrom, he can really put some guys on the back feet with that outlier. All right, number 4, Chili Davis. Chili Davis. So you guys know what my talk about switch hitters, right? I just went over. You guys want to hear me talk more about it, go to the Eddie Murray part. But you probably just lived through that, so I won't repeat it. The issue is he's a DH, right? Terrible defense, terrible speed. He's only locked to one position. I love everything else about him. The clutch is a little low too, but that's about it. I do like Chili Davis. Next up, you're going to look at Max Muncy and be like, what are you talking about? The thing about Max Muncy is he's got that it factor. I talked a little bit about this with Adam Dunn, and I like Adam Dunn. I really do. But Max Muncy, if you want to go like on All-Star specifically, like a full power all home run squad, Max Muncy's your dude. This guy is an all-star demon. People will hate throwing pitches to this guy. As you move up to Hall of Fame, legend, he obviously moves down in value because of the low contact. Clutch is only 95, which, is probably on par with a lot of the other guys we've seen. But overall, this guy is your second baseman. Oh my gosh. He's a confidence wiper, we'll say, for pitchers out there. That's how much I love Max Muncy. So even though you're like, what are you talking about, Fox? Muncy this high? Just use him. You'll see. Napoli. Napoli was one of the finest catchers we got last year. It was a BR reward last year, if I recall. And, Gunsky just went ham over Napoli. Napoli's got insanely good hitting stats, both contact and power. Clutch is 125, which just blows my mind, too. Why did he get 125? I don't know. I don't know why they give some guys 125. One of the more important attributes they gave cards this year, he's a catcher, too. Right? He's a friggin' catcher. I think he's right there with Posada as the best catchers in the game. I don't know. Posada's clutch. This guy's got clutch. I haven't used Napoli this year, but Napoli has traditionally been. I think he's got a pull swing too. I have to go check the roster as I can. But I'm fairly. I'm like 95% confident he's got a pull swing, so I won't do that. My number one though. And I think it's going to be surprising. I was surprised and looked at him. We don't have a lot of good pitchers. I think Lance McCullers is a good pitcher. I think is he top 5 in the game? I'd have to do some more research. I think he's knocking on that door. Lance McCullers. All right. Sinker. No quirks. Whatever. Don't care. 104 stamina. High-end hits per 9. And even higher, perfect pitching clutch. Perfect. Okay? 95 sinker, which is the max you can get without outlier. Slider, knuckle curve, circle, and cutter. And the cutter. I don't know. I don't see how this isn't a top 5 pitch in the game. Look at that break, too. Control is solid. I mean, knuckle curve. Curves aren't controlled. Curves just hang. There's something fundamentally broken about curveballs in this game. But, 84 on the slider circle. Cutter a little bit lower, but dude, what? Sinker, cutter, slider, circle change. Maybe you can argue you want the circle change to be like 75 miles per hour, which is really rare to have in this game. It's like Nolan Ryan differentials, which is why he's a good pitcher. But yeah, Lance McCullers, I think he's my favorite of the whole bunch. The only argument I see against him would be walks per 9. Sort of mitigated by his high pitch control, but I like this card. I think this card's gonna be really good. That's why I put him over Napoli. Napoli I could see totally being one, but there you go. McCullers, Napoli, Muncy, Chile. Let me know where I screwed up. That's it. For all you people that skipped to the end, shame on you. Go back and watch it all. Shame. Shame. Shame.